What's good, guys? So this will be the last time that I talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now you may be looking behind me and seeing some Cyberpunk gameplay. I realize that's not necessarily topical to the video, but that's what I'm playing right now. And I actually kind of thought that might be more interesting than just more Dragon Age Veilguard gameplay while I talk about this issue. It does reference Dragon Age the Veilguard, but it's not specifically about that, more about an issue within corporate entertainment, whether that be games or other media. So anyways, I digress. The point that I wanted to make today is turning over intellectual properties to somebody not known for appealing to the audience of that property. If we look at Dragon Age the Veilguard, it was directed by Corinne Busche. Now, there's been people who've talked about Corinne Busche and, her identity. I don't really care. My point in this video is Corinne Busche, prior to Dragon Age the Veilguard, was known for her work on The Sims. Now, she might make absolutely awesome Sims games. I have no clue. It's just not something that interests me. That's kind of the point of the video. Dragon Age, prior to this entry, was actually something that interests me. I played and beat 2 of the 3 games, and I played a good bit of the 3rd one. I realize that gaming is more diverse than ever, but that's talking about gaming as a whole. That's not talking about individual titles or individual intellectual properties. That's a different avenue. And I think when you would look even today at the breakdown of the fan base of Dragon Age the Veilguard, I don't think you would find anywhere close to a 50-50 male to female split. Like, I would probably, this is a guess because I don't really know where I can find this data. I'm going to guess it's probably like 80% guys that would like Dragon Age the Veilguard, just because with most high fantasy properties, that's usually the case. The problem that we have now within the industry, and I'll bring up another example here in a second, is there's no overlap between The Sims and Dragon Age. So why would you think that a creator that is known for appealing to the audience of The Sims would be able to create something that would appeal to the audience of Dragon Age? And I get to a certain degree why it's done. I get that, part of it is sort of a result of hiring practices and what's popular within corporate spheres at this point. But just from a sheer money standpoint, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to think that somebody would be capable to reaching an audience that they've never reached before. And I really do wish that gaming companies, specifically since this is a gaming channel, would start to realize this. Now, I think if you want to look, there's plenty of examples of this, but if you want another example, you could look at what Disney did recently with The Acolyte and Star Wars. Leslie Headland, she was previously known for a series called Russian Doll. Now, if it might that might be a fine series, and I'm sure that appealed to its own unique demographic, its own target audience, whatever that may be. I would guess there are not too many Star Wars fans that have viewed Russian Doll. And this is the point that I'm making, is that you can't keep turning over properties to people who have no clue how to appeal to the audience of those properties. It's foolish to do so. It's financially incompetent to do so. Why these corporations keep doing it is beyond me. Like, I'm not going to blame these creators, because at the end of the day, these creators have just done what they've done. You have to blame the upper echelon for handing over these properties to them in the first place. You have to blame an EA for handing Dragon Age to a Corinne Busche. You have to blame Disney for handing Star Wars over to a lady who made Russian Doll. Like, at the end of the day, the problems that you have to address is that you cannot appeal to the target audience. And now I realize corporate media has been sold in all this hiring practice and that they've engaged in with, DEI and everything, that they've been sold this idea that you can appeal to all audiences, that diversifying your message will just appeal to everybody. And that's not the case. I think you can really look at just young men and how they tend to break politically and realize that's probably not going to appeal to them to turn over those properties to people who think the other way. And listen, I'm not saying there isn't a market for what they do. Clearly there is. Go make the best Sims game, shove it full of whatever you want to shove it full of, because at the end of the day, that's going to appeal to a dominantly female audience who will skew and heavily agree with those sentiments far more than a Dragon Age. Just know who you're selling to. This isn't going to be a perfect analogy, because I myself actually do like cats, and you know, I don't have any of my own. I have 2 dogs. But if I go over to my friend's, he has cats. If I go over there, I won't just let a cat lay in my lap. I will encourage it to lay in my lap. So while the analogy may not be perfect as applied to me, I think it is concise. And you don't have to stop being cat people, but please stop trying to sell cats to dog people, okay? We're not interested. We're not going to buy it. Everybody involved will be better off for it. You will have not wasted time and energy trying to get somebody to buy something that they don't want to buy. We will not have to waste time and energy wondering why the dog that we just bought is pooping in a litter box, and everybody will be better off for it. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one today. Appreciate your time. If you like this, you know, do all the YouTube stuff, and we will catch you on the next one. Until then, guys, get awesome.